let's finish off here with this is like an Adrian Lorenzo player to the bone, and also a guy who had some people evaluating him as a pitcher. That is the number one prospect in all of baseball, Konnor Griffin out of South Carolina, committed to LSU, gets picked by the Pittsburgh Pirates at, what was he, ninth overall pick, and has quickly become, as we talked about, the number one prospect in baseball, maybe the number one prospect in a while. You compare it to like a Bobby Witt as far as what he could be. And I remember this draft because this was a very position player heavy draft, as we talked about. We talked about Nick Kurtz. We talked about Caglione. We talked about some of those, Westerholt's going to be up quick. Bazana's going to be up quick. Cam Smith's already been up. A lot of these guys are already up.
We're in a different era.
And this was in my opinion, a particularly college position player heavy draft that he was in. So he was one of the few high school guys that was kind of in that mix. And when you look at the profile, a lot of stuff that you just on paper you look at and jumps out. 6'4", 210, obviously. But then this guy was a great football player. He was a great basketball player. He stole 85 bases. He threw mid-90s on the mound. They said some people legitimately thought he'd be a pitcher right-handed. Some people thought he could be legitimately be a pitcher and a high prospect as a pitcher. I want to get into a few things with this guy. We all know how it's turned out so far, where he is a 5-tool potential guy. But 9th pick. So not like Eli Willis this year, where he's a number 1 pick. I know he's under slot or whatever, but high school guys went higher this year than he did.
I think because of him.
That's a good point. And I guess a Bobby Witt too, right? And guys like that. You look at the question marks coming out. And I think we did this with Roman Anthony, where I went back and I said, now Roman Anthony he was a comp pick, or was he second round? He was somewhere in that later area.
Second round.
Right. So you go back and say, how did that happen? Now, this was a much higher pick at the 9th pick, but still, if it was a redraft, he'd go higher.
Roman Anthony deserves his own episode, so we'll get to that.
Well, we talked about it. And we talked about it. But when I went and looked at him, I saw something in the Baseball America report that mirrors what I see with Griffin, which is did not hit well on the showcase circuit, hit well for his high school team. In spring. That was on both of their kind of negatives, right?
Sure.
Is it the showcase?
Didn't light up the summer circuit.
There were some hit tool questions at that time.
You can't helicopter in and see him at a showcase and decide this is the best hitter. You have to watch him over the course of time.
And it was in the scouting report, hey, this guy did better in spring, but I guess it's how much they weigh, right? What they do in high school against kids that aren't going to be going to college versus what they do at showcases. I know some high school coaches that are friends of mine that say that people are way overvaluing showcases and not high school performance. Again, there's a high school coach's perspective.
Both have benefits.
Seems a reason why hit tool questions from the circuit. That's why this guy went where he went. Everything else from an athleticism standpoint, from a size standpoint, it checks out.
And inherent profile questions. I don't think it's like a slam dunk shortstop evaluation. He's like to me, this is an offensively driven athlete profile that you like, I'll bet that there were guys saying that is it a center fielder?
It's right. That's the question here. And I want to ask you that.
Yeah.
The difference between, we think this guy could, because he's an athlete, we think this guy could be a plus center fielder.
Yep.
And we think this guy could be a shortstop.
Yep.
Let's say above average. How much of a difference in value is it to be a plus center fielder and above average shortstop, or even above average both, plus both, whatever it is? Just a difference in positional value. Center fielder, shortstop, assume the hitting profile is the same.
Whatever lets the bat take off, in my opinion. I think shortstop is sexier. And so I think it's more engaged, and I think it has more WAR opportunity. But did you like Ken Griffey Jr.?
Right. Julio Rodriguez. Julio Rodriguez isn't even hitting consistently. He's always one of the top WAR guys.
It's hard to have a center fielder be your franchise player. They don't really, it's not that they don't exist anymore, but that's a position that isn't loaded with superstar players
at all.
And so I think I'll take I'll take Ken Griffey Jr. if you can get him, right? So it's not I think you can they're the two positions where the athletes can let it eat the most. I'll say that.
Yep.
Shortstop and center field. And if you're a left-handed thrower, you get tossed out to center field. You can't play the infield. This was my issue. Never allowed me to play shortstop, but we won't revisit that here. But when you're that big, there's an there's a habit to be like incredulous as to whether you could stick there because you're just going to be too big for the position. It happened with A-Rod, and A-Rod did end up sliding over, but that was more for different reasons. It comes up a lot. in the Correa discussion, do you think he's going to stay at shortstop? Is he going to move over, slide over to third? Big guys aren't always this fast.
Right.
So they don't put you in the category of being considered for center field as well. This tells me that there's just the athlete grades and the run tools were just, okay, this guy's in his own different elite athletic category with physicality to go with it. And then also with a very advanced hit tool. So,
which by the way, I pulled out when you said that, I pulled up Corey Seager, his scouting report out of high school. The future. Seager will likely face a move to third base at some point, but they'll keep him at shortstop to start his career. And how old is he now? One of the
most
best
third
players in baseball.
basemen, most well defending third basemen's report read like this though. So it's not an uncommon thing for you to be a shortstop through high school and end up playing third base, because it's shortstop. We've talked about it on this show. Playing shortstop at the big league level is no joke. I remember watching Xander Bogaerts was another one that I watched. Like, Xander's a big dude. And there's always like, well, when does he move to third? Is this Xander has had to do a lot of things and is athletically very gifted to dispel a lot of those things. Carlos Correa, same thing. Those guys didn't have the plus run tool that Griffin's got. So it's, I think what has surprised people in this profile and what elevates him to this level this quickly is the bat. First of all, the bat's just playing at every level. So without that, we're not talking about him in this category, but also it has not looked out of place subjectively or objectively with the measures that we use to grade out defense. So yeah, if you can preserve him at shortstop and you have a Bobby Witt type of player playing shortstop for you, we know that that works. We know that that amount of WAR stacking up, works. And there's a top of the scale bat here too. Very little punch. I think the Pirates did a really, really good job with this one. Like that's to stretch and get a high school player with that many good college players available to you. Behind him is Cam Smith, James Tibbs. Like they're good quality.
The switch pitcher, Durangelo.
So there
Trey Savage, I think is knocking on the door
Trey
too.
Savage is knocking on the door, but in a very college heavy draft, for them to reach and get this, I thought it was a really aggressive pick, and it's about as good of an outcome as you can hope for if you're the Pittsburgh Pirates, right? And you're looking at your amateur scouting department. Like in 1 year, this guy has, from the 9th pick, has propelled himself into the #1 prospect in baseball. That means you can move him. They're not going to move him, I don't think, but you can acquire any asset in baseball with Konnor Griffin right now. Almost any asset.